romantic and sentimental lyrics of Japanese pop songs reflect the conformist views of the country's young people. Yet at the same time, they show the overpowering influence of Western styles and images. It's the confusion of these two things which makes it so hard for outsiders to understand Japanese youth.
Japanorama.
Japanorama. Hello, konnichiwa, and welcome to Japanorama, where we've been looking for excitement from the top of Mount Fuji to the bottom of, well, we've been looking at as many bottoms as we've been allowed to. This week we're going to be looking at Japan's obsession with youth and the incredible energy they will expend at keeping that youth amused. And by youth, of course, I mean, we're calling it Children and to Laughter Were Our Future. I'm riding a panda. I'm riding a giant mechanical panda.
The Japanese may be famous for revering their elders, but many of the country's greatest filmmakers focus all their energies on amusing the kids. As do animators, musicians, artists, and game designers. But some portray childhood as an opportunity for exploitation. Or maybe it's just a desperate struggle for survival. Synchronized swimming, an official Olympic event, is big in Japan with teenage girls. But a group of boys at Kawagoe High School decided to give it a go, and in speedos as tight as their aquatic routines, the boys were a hit. When a film producer saw a piece about the boys on the evening news, the synchromantic comedy hit of 2001 was born. Water Boys. Water Boys is an inspiring tale of misfits and outsiders who defy convention, unusual in Japan where, as the popular saying goes, the nail that sticks out gets hammered. The boys find a coach and a very campy dolphin trainer. And he slaps them into shape for the big performance. Being a teen comedy, Water Boys has slapstick hijinks and, of course, romance, but with a twist. This film really does have something for everyone, if by everyone you mean people who love to ogle young men in very tight swimming trunks. And just in case you weren't clear where this is coming from, a group of transvestites sign on as team sponsors. Finally, the big show. The Water Boys and their dolphin-based choreography are a glittering success. Water Boys, who wouldn't want to be in your gang?
Hello, I'm the plastic cup artist, Loco. Today I'm going to look around Tokyo as a cuphead.
This bubbly bunch of kooky kids from Kobe are the Cupheads, an underground artistic movement who've been absolutely delighting commuters with their unique form of art. Yes, they are all wearing big globes made of plastic cups over their heads. The bouncy leader of this merry band is 25-year-old Hiroko Usui, who goes by the name of Loco.
This round thing is made of 300 plastic cups. I think it has 100 eyes, 100 ears, and 100 mouths.
But it's not just on the streets that Loco is trying to convert us all to the cup. She's also a big hit with Japanese art heads who pour into her paper cup performances.
You know, when you attach a string between two plastic cups, it makes a string form. When I was a kid, I wanted to communicate with hundreds of people at the same time. This has now become my art. So I want more people to try being a cuphead. Honestly, everyone can join us. This week, we will look at how to laugh beautifully. First, we shall look at bad example. This is incorrect. An elegant way of laughing is to cover your mouth with your 5 fingers, making sure there is a gap between your hand and mouth. This is to hide the movement of your mouth. This would show your politeness. Now, we shall look at a good example. You can see the elegance with this example. This is a very beautiful way of laughing.
Perhaps the greatest difference between the Japanese and British music scenes is that over here, musical Svengalis create disposable pop stars for whom the packaging is much more important than the actual music, unlike in Britain. So let's have a look at a few of these so-called Japanese pop idols.
It may sound peculiar to us, but in Japan, pop idols not only have to appeal to their prime audience of young girls, but also to grown men. Japanese pop idols, if possible, are even more unbearably cute and perky than their Western counterparts. And though they might take their cue from Western stars like Madonna, they aren't programmed to have her impressive shelf life. And they don't just come in ones or even fives. Sometimes they come in battalions. No, this isn't a talent show at some middle school. These are the Morning Girls. 13 of them last time we counted. Starting out in 1998 with a paltry 5 members, the group soon expanded. But what makes them unique is their Logan's Run-inspired retirement system. When a morning girl starts looking like she needs an afternoon nap, she is unceremoniously replaced with a newer, fresher face. Is this the Japanese pop idol of the future? It's a liquor doll, the Japanese Barbie. She never gets old, she doesn't eat, she won't imprudently mate, and she'll certainly never attempt to write her own songs. 48 million liquor dolls have been sold since it all began back in 1967. So the brains behind liquor, Takara Toys, thought, why not make pop idols out of doll idols? They held televised auditions to find the perfect embodiment of lickosity and came up with these 3 living dolls. And this is their first single. Will 48 million liquor lovers like it? I have absolutely no idea, but I could watch the video all day.
Japanorama.
Japanese schoolgirls, don't you just love them? Cute and studious, innocent and adorable. Well, in Japan, this adoration has become something of a national obsession. And while we might pretend that we don't find these juvenile images from anime and manga a mite uncomfortable, maybe we should be asking, is Japanese innocence being perverted? Well, according to this man, filmmaker Hideaki Anno, it most certainly is. One of Japan's animation gods, Anno's credits include the smash hits Evangelion and Gunbuster. But after years of entertaining Japanese children with his dark sci-fi anime, Anno turned his attention to the dark side of Japanese childhood in his first live-action feature, Love and Pop. Love and Pop explores the Japanese obsession with schoolgirls and the phenomenon of compensation dating. Schoolgirls dating older men for cash to buy designer goods.
Seems like all men think younger girls are better than anything else. I guess it's because of their age. They have this incredible energy which older men are lacking. In fact, there's no energy left in Japan.
The film covers 24 hours in the life of Hiromi, an ordinary Japanese schoolgirl who falls in love with a beautiful topaz ring while out shopping. To raise the cash to buy it, she resorts to compensation dating. An ultra-low-budget art house feature, this disturbing 2.5-hour epic was filmed entirely on digital video, and it's chock-a-block with experimental camera angles.
I made the film by gathering all sorts of interesting footage. I thought an ordinary scene could look different by changing the point of view. If you do it like this, you can see what the actor is looking at. It's not the cameraman, but the actor who wears the camera like this. So it's the real action. I can show you another one. It will look like what you can see between your legs.
Anno's eccentric visual style adds to the film's profoundly unsettling look at the Japanese schoolgirl fetish. Love and Pop explodes the innocent belief that compensation dating involves just sharing an ice cream with a kindly uncle type. In a land where merchandising is king, schoolgirls and their bodily fluids are in hot demand. Underground mania shops sell used schoolgirl uniforms and knickers and, if it takes your fancy, schoolgirl spit and so-called golden liquid. It wasn't until 1999 that authorities realised the extent of the problem and introduced tough new laws against compensation dating. Fines are now imposed on men caught in public dating schoolgirls.
Many girls don't see what is wrong with selling their bodies and making some money. They can't see why it is the wrong thing to do. They can't imagine what would happen if they were to do it, and then get into trouble.
Sure, it's arty and disturbing, but is Love and Pop's portrayal of compensation dating true to life? Japanorama recruited 2 actual compensation daters and asked them to view the film for us.
That never happens! Never! They're never that persistent either. That one looks like a ticket tout. On top of that, it never happens when you're in your school uniform. Also, it never happens during the day. Nowadays, no one pays you for just singing together anymore. For example, if 2 of us go to a karaoke box and give him a blowjob, we can earn roughly 75 quid each. I think schoolgirls are kind of a brand name, just like a designer label. You see the label. Suppose it doesn't have to be schoolgirls.
They don't care who they sleep with, but the younger the girl is, the better.
They like us for our sexual inexperience, though that's not exactly true. They think we are innocent.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you can't wait to grow up so you can buy all those toys that you really, really want? Well, when you do get older, you put away such childish desires. If I were you, I'd start ringing this lot up. Here's what's coming up in the rest of the programme.
Cartoons that are amazing, kids with guns a-blazing, and Hello Kitty. The king of the U-rated video game world has to be Nintendo, with hits such as Super Mario. You know, since its first appearance in 1981, they've sold 150 million Mario games. Although video games are now a massive market for the over 25s, the game gurus are still trying to hook 'em young. So thanks to games, boys can grow up learning how to kill anything and everything that gets in their way. While lucky girls can grow up learning how to talk to Toro, the cute cat.
My dream is to become a human, and I feel I might be able to become one if we spend enough time together.
Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling pointer's 9. Place.
Boys can develop their virtual delinquent skills, terrorizing shoppers on the streets of Tokyo in Jet Set Radio Future.
Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen.
While girls get to solve cute, quirky puzzles like Otto Stars, or chat some more to Toto the cat.
Hello.
Can you deliver this, mate?
Postpet is the latest big hit with the kiddies in Japan. You get to choose a fluffy character to deliver your email, and it'll bounce out the door and straight to your chum's hard drive. The most popular member of the Postpet menagerie is Momo, the pink bear. But you have to keep your Postpet happy. Give the little fellow a rub with your mouse and make sure he gets a bath. If you neglect your Postpet, he could leave home forever, and even wind up like this.
Deliver this. Are you not feeling well? You've been drinking. These are my pants.
あなたは誰？
Japanorama began as an exploration of my passion for all things Japanesey, and near the top of my list of lust is a man who, without sugarcoating the uncertainty and hazards of life, manages to portray the magic of childhood with warmth and respect. Hayao Miyazaki. Miyazaki's mind-blowing crop of animated features includes Nausicaa, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, and most recently, Spirited Away.
Miyazaki-san, first of all, let me say I'm a huge fan of yours, so thank you so much for finding the time to speak with me for the program. They call you the Japanese Disney, and I wonder, how do you feel about that?
I'm not very happy about it. Disney is a producer, but he's not a director. Now, Disney is such a big company. They're very keen to have everything in the world.
You obviously have a great fondness for children, but also an ability, it seems, to put yourself in their shoes for their age, which is quite remarkable for any adult, I think. Is this something you've always had?
As I'm exploring animation with the main character, I recall old memories. I also see my friends' daughters a few times a year when we go to the cottage in the summer. Looking at their facial expressions always teaches me something. All the movements and feeling of the main character are taken from them.
Finally, some excitement around here. Going up.
After years of directing animation for television, in 1978 Miyazaki directed his first feature-length film, The Castle of Cagliostro. It won the praise of critics and filmmakers the world over. In fact, Steven Spielberg reportedly chose this as the greatest car chase in any film ever.
Let's go for something more heavy-duty.
However, it wasn't until 1988 that Miyazaki and his studio Ghibli would win widespread recognition with the stunning My Neighbor Totoro.
今日はとてもすごいニュースがあるんです。メイがお化けのトトロに出会いました。私は自分も会えたらいいなと思っています。
It's the story of two sisters, Mei and Satsuki, who move from the city to the country, where they discover a family of warm woodland creatures whom they call Totoros.
That scene with the bus stop where they're waiting for their father and the cat bus comes, which is one of the most wonderful scenes in any animated movie. And what strikes me is you rarely see films at that pace, scenes at that pace, and with that kind of relaxed feel in American animated movies. It seems very unusual.
It just happened to be like that. My original plan was much shorter. However, it became longer as we started visualizing the images. In the end, it turned out to be a great scene. It was most fortunate, a mysterious scene made with spacious music and images.
In 1997, Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke broke all box office records, reaping an unprecedented $150 million in Japan. This complex and enchanting feature sees Miyazaki exploring man's power struggle in the natural order through the tale of Prince Ashitaka, who needs to find the cure to a wound that is killing him. Mononoke was Studio Ghibli's first export to the US, but failed to score at the box office, perhaps because in the West we don't expect animated movies to be quite so sophisticated.
I didn't expect children to fully understand Princess Mononoke, and was surprised when they did. In fact, it was the adults and critics who were confused.
Studio Ghibli's latest release, Spirited Away, has grossed over $250 million, busting Mononoke's box office record by a wide margin. It also nabbed Miyazaki the prestigious Golden Bear at the 2002 Berlin Film Festival. Spirited Away tells the story of a young girl, Chihiro, who must journey to the spirit world in order to rescue her parents, who've been turned into pigs.
In the scene in Spirited Away, when the parents eat and eat and eat, I had a horrible feeling that's how my children look at me sometimes when I'm at the table. Is that what you were thinking?
That's how the Japanese eat nowadays. I think it's very ugly. They catch prawns, squid and crab from all over the world and keep eating. All you ever see on the TV is cooking programs.
Let me just finish by saying there are many directors whose films I admire, but I can't think of more than one animator whose work I admire without exception, and that is yours. So thank you so much again for spending some time with us, Miyazaki-san. And by the way, nice ginger cake. Look at me! I'm riding a panda! I'm riding a panda! I'm riding a panda.
Japanorama.
白岩学園3年 B 組の皆さん、こんにちは。
はい、こんにちは。
今日皆さんは幸運にも今年度バトルロワイヤルの大賞クラスに選ばれました。おめでとうございます。
死後してんじゃねえこの野郎。せーな。人が話をしているときは。
Every generation of adults thinks its youth have it too easy, and what they really need is some harsh discipline. But in the ultra-violent and controversial Battle Royale, disobedient students are subject to swift and immediate punishment.
これからお姉さんがルールについて説明します。
An unruly 11th grade class is taken to an island, handed weapons and then forced to slaughter one another. Only one member of the class will be allowed to leave the island alive. And so begins 71-year-old director Kinji Fukasaku's kill or be killed take on Lord of the Flies, as wide-eyed innocents mow down their friends with lethal ferocity. When Battle Royale was released in Japan, it caused a huge sensation. As the controversy intensified, director Fukasaku publicly stated his opinion that Japan's inability to deal with or even acknowledge the violence in its society had led to a situation that is now out of control. A situation for which he said there is simply no hope. Blimey. Of course, nobody would have cared if he hadn't driven home this gloomy theme in such an incredibly exciting way. Apparently, in the land of cute, all you really need to launch a multi-million-dollar empire is a simple drawing of a cute kitty cat. In 1990, Sanrio opened Puroland, a hugely successful indoor theme park dedicated to Kitty-chan, or as we know her, Hello Kitty. Inside you'll find kitty shows, kitty monsters, kitty bathrooms, kitty food. You can also meet Kitty's cute friends. Bad Bats, Maru the penguin, Pom-Pom Purin the dog, Karopi the frog, Pikachu the puppy, Peckle the duck. And if you're having trouble getting your mouth around that lot, try this. That's Kyoko from Kyoto. Believe it or not, you can even get married at Hello Kitty Land. But what kind of person would exchange vows at Hello Kitty Land? Well, how about me and my wife, Jane? Oh yeah, look at that tree.
Watashi tashi wa shiawase na, tokemo konana, tokemo ayane, koala no aeto, saizitsu o chikae otagai ni.
Now, the groom may kiss the bride.
Well, we've charmed and disarmed. Unfortunately, no animals were harmed. But what have we actually learned? Well, maybe we've learned much fresh superior. Go, go, second-time virgin. Oyasumanasai. Good night.
There's Sex in Japan up next on BBC Choice.